things that all our students throughout time insist on is on an ex-ante basis to know how they will be evaluated. My class at the Fisher College of Business at The Ohio State University, they all know that 40% of their grade is a function of class participation. Based on your tepid response to my morning salutation, you are all sucking a D right now, all right? So let's try that again. This is not about me, this is about you, all right? So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Better, not great. Better, not great. All right, so that's great. But all right, so here we go. Did I push the right button? Should I push it at something in particular? Big green button. That's the big green button, but that's all right. I've got help. Wait, there's a spare. Could you guys advance that? Would that be all right? Anyway, I'd like to begin by saying thank you. Truly saying thank you, all right? Because first I'd like to thank our the conference organizers. You guys have done just an amazing job creating this sacred shared space. I would like to thank the vendors and exhibitors. And by the way, we do not call them vendors because vendors are people who put, if you will, like candy in machines. These are actually people who help us accomplish mission. I'd like to thank, in particular, the folks at SAS, who are my friends, as they intervened with my deans to actually make sure that I could get out of school. I mean, you know a class sucks when the professor skips it, all right? But, they got me out, and they said, come on, this is a good thing. I'd like to thank that. But my most important thank you goes to you, the participants, because I do know that I am presuming upon your scarcest and most valuable, if you will, resource, which is time. And I will do everything I can, here you go, boss, everything I can to basically create a positive, a supernormal return on your temporal investment. All right, so I am truly honored to be with you, because this is, I want to set some context. This is a special session, ladies and gentlemen. This is not just a day away, or a week, or 3 days away from the office. This is not, as the Brits say, a jolly. This is not just an opportunity to drink the vendors or your solution partners like alcohol, right? What this actually is I'm a classically trained cultural anthropologist. This is actually a celebration and a celebration of you. So thank you, sir. You're doing a great job. Thanks. And so we'll move forward. Oh, look at that. We're moving forward. All right. So so I want to thank that. You are a special audience. All right, you really are a special audience because you're the ones who were able to escape the force of gravity of the now, of basically being tied to your particular workspace and actually come out and recognize that your future is a function of your ability to work as a collective. And I'm talking about a very critical and important topic, which is actually your future and how you relate to the rest of the enterprise, and also at a unique moment in economic history. A truly unique moment in economic history. I just want to say, pause. This is one of those inflection points, liminal points, a hinge of history. The decisions you make moving forward in the next 9 to 12 to 18 months not only will materially impact your personal career trajectory, but will also materially impact the success trajectory of your enterprise, the region in which that enterprise is located, basically the national economy of wherever you may be, and also, and let me really add something. It's a stretch, but I do believe this at the essence of my being, actually our survivability as a species. So this is not just an opportunity to drink until 2 o'clock here in San Francisco. All right, that's kind of, so my objective today is very, very simple. I want to get you barking dog excited about what comes next. All right, this is not like, well, it doesn't suck. It's it's okay. I'm employed. My kids are fed. No. I want you to get barking dog excited about. I want you to run to work. I want you to be excited about this. And here's a plan for going forward this morning. I don't have much time with you. Via a series of quick exercises, we will explore basically who you are, how you think, how you're perceived, and most importantly, what you can do to win the hearts and minds of the alphas and the ubers of your enterprise. So why am I the guy, why do I am a CXO whisperer, ladies and gentlemen. I am a CXO whisperer. How do you do that? Is I am ridiculously well-traveled. I am actually on the road 250 days a year. I'm genetically engineered for airline travel. I am short and squat and actually like the food, all right? So I do that. I have a face for radio, that type of thing, So I do that. And so I actually go, and it's not because I love the TSA, because they're large men, but they're gentle. No, I mean, The reason I go out there to meet people, right? I go out there, I am a promiscuous networker. I actually, basically, the way I evaluate my business is that every 5 to 6 weeks, I go through 1,000 business cards. 1,000 business cards. Now, don't worry, I'm a promiscuous, but and that's not, but I don't sell anything. As many of the CEOs that I have worked for basically would tell me, Thornton, you couldn't sell water to a man on fire. All right, but I talk to these people and they talk to me, and I just let the data and the patterns basically waft over me. So that's going on. I am pathologically observant. I come by that very, very legitimately. People say, "Boy, Thornton, that's a strange life, and what do you do, and how does it work?" And I can't figure it out. This data point will make it all understandable. I was outsourced as a child. What? My mother was very prominent in human intelligence gathering for the American intelligence community following World War II. She worked for 2 American presidents. So she was a spy for our side. She was a good, lovely person. I don't know if any of you know spies or people in the intelligence that want to, actually field workers. She was human. All right, great person. They're very interesting. They tend to be good looking, tend to be able to hold their alcohol, like Jim Stern. They tend to be good with martial arts, right? Good with small arms, right? Parenting, not so much. So I was sent away to the military academy at the age of 5, where I learned my healthy respect for authority figures. Not, but my mom picked me up at 16. She actually asked the commandant and said, "Don't you have anybody taller?" I said, "Mom, no, there's this rule. You have to take home who you dropped off." All right. But the one lesson Mom gave me, which is actually a very important lesson, which I think you have all, as members of this community, figured out, is my mom told me, "Thornton, your network will keep you safe." Your network, and she was not talking about the amazing network, that the NSA and all these other people run. She was talking about your human network. So before you leave San Francisco, when you leave San Francisco, I hope that you have networked, swapped cards, and built those human relationships, because your network will truly keep you safe at this liminal moment, or this point of inflection we're going through. So that's going on, and I'm brutally honest. I mean, I don't do anything for any of the vendors. I basically, said this is what I'm seeing. It's just data. You guys check it out. So that's going on. So for the past 2 years, if you will, I have been on a journey. All right, so at every major geographical market, that's not true. I didn't go to Antarctica, but everywhere else. In every vertical market, 20 of them, we sort of segmented into 20. At every level of the enterprise, from the boardroom to the mailroom, basically, I have been mapping relationships. Who's talking to who, what happens in that inner type of thing. And those of you, I don't know if any of you know a lovely woman by the name of Karen Stevenson. Do Google her or Bing her, something like that. She basically does a lot of the work, the social network analysis for the intelligence community. She was a colleague of mine when I was teaching at the Anderson Graduate School of Management at UCLA. An amazing person. But I'm actually looking at these patterns of how the organization is structured and how it really operates. And so I've spent a great deal of time basically studying organizational realpolitik. Who wins, who loses. In the phrase of in the terminology of the millennials, who's got the juice? Who's got the juice and what is happening there? So that's what I've been looking for, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. And all of that was rolled into this book called The New No. And this is, I do hope you get this book. It's funny, my mom in the intelligence community, she's still alive, because I think, and she called me up, she says, "Hey, your book is on Amazon." I said, "Yeah, isn't that great? Strangers who I don't even know can buy it." No, she said, no, there's something wrong with the book. I said, "What do you mean, Mom? What do you mean?" She says, "They're discounting it." Mom, that happens all the time. That happens all the time. But actually, and this is a great. It's not a long book. It's actually great for executive audiences. It's short and has big print, and so as that goes on. But typically, I'm not a book writer. I have no pretensions of I'm not a knowledge leader. I do prefaces. For those of you, it's easier to do a preface. You can do it in a weekend, and you still get your name on the front cover. So I've done 3 or 4 prefaces. That's a good thing. But all right, but because we live in a Web 2.0 world, you know this: collective intelligence, openness, social networks, collaboration, and user-created content. Because my discussion with you this morning is not a lecture. This is one of my students, my doctoral work is at the University of Michigan, basically in Japanese studies. And so this is actually one of my students at Keio University after a scintillating talk about the intersection of social media and the cloud. There he is. Right? So this is not a lecture. A lecture is an unfortunate managerial experience where the notes of the professor somehow magically become the notes of the participant without passing the cerebral cortex of either. All right, so that's not going to happen. All right, you know, this is not a holiday. We're going to work. All right, you know, and because all of us are smarter than any one of us, and we are going to try a new path to knowledge, a new path to collective knowledge, and that path involves several quick exercises. Now, this is where it becomes dangerous, and I talked to Jim about this type of thing, because I know you are the Uber and Alphas of the web analytic community. And I know that in your socialization process, because I am a cultural anthropologist, I know that somewhere, at some moment in your time, you bumped into this thinking that interfacing with other carbon-based life forms was a bad thing. All right, we're going to change that. We're going to actually, this is a curated audience. You're smart. We're going to ask you to play together for a while. So here it is. All right, I would like you 3 minutes. Form a group, all right, form a group, and ask, if you would, this is what we call the Era Awareness Group Exercise, which historical moment most closely resembles the situation we find ourselves in today? Work among yourselves. What patterns or trends did you perceive in your responses? This is that, you hate that professorial, what did that mean? What did that mean? Does anybody have a thought about what were those responses? What did they, oh yes, sir, sorry.
Ken Novak, Tribune Company. Our group talked about the Gutenberg time.
Nice.
But I'd also add Galileo and finding out how to talk about what you've discovered without getting imprisoned.
Well, I love very good. No, but I love the Galileo. I love both of those because Gutenberg, fundamentally democratized information, very, very powerful because we are at that spot, very, very good. And then Galileo, remember Galileo, really he was an instrumentor. And so because the fact that we now have these more powerful instruments allow us to see more and know more. So very, very good. Now, in general, en masse, would you say that your responses were positive or negative with regards to that? Positive, generally positive. And the reason, just so I know that you're always, I didn't realize that analysts basically really meant psychoanalysts, right? You know, they're like, what does he really want? What is that troubled bow tie wearing like I really want, all right? So thank you for that concern, but I pay for my own therapy, all right? So it's, but it's, so what we're looking, the reason we ask that question is, if you ask people straightforward questions, typically they game the answer. So you sort of have to sneak up on what's going on. You sort of have to sneak up on going on. But let me share with you. These are I've asked these questions around the world, basically, and responses vary among the many tribes dwelling in the enterprise forest. But you're trying to get inside their head. What is going on? All right. So one basically said it was FDR the day after Pearl Harbor, and that was like wow. And the essence of that thought, that moment was we should have known. We should have known. The data was that we should have known. And then there was Winston Churchill, day 30 of the Blitz. And that was, they just keep bombing us, right? Because it just wouldn't stop, right? And then Emperor Hirohito, basically the day after Hiroshima, right? Basically, well, that changes things, right? Well, okay, that status quo. Those of you who had some troubles with recognizing the status quo was busted, I think we got empirical evidence there, right? And then Christopher Columbus, the day after he got the green light from Isabella. Boats, going to need some boats, oh, okay, got that type of thing, And then Lewis and Clark, day 400 of their trip of 863 days. Where the hell are we? Where the hell? And of course, Joan of Arc, at the stake. What's that I smell burning? What's that I smell burning? So what you're trying to do is trying to figure out where people's heads are, if you will. So that's going on. But one of the things we find out in asking these questions is that every functional tribe is suffering through existential angst. All right, reality is recompiling. If you're a CFO, if you're a CMO, if you're a COO, basically all the major functions in the enterprise are basically, they're reassessing their value, their purpose, their methodologies, what they do. And if you will, trying to add some tone to our conversation here, in Hamlet, basically, stand and unfold yourself. This, of course, is like line 2, which is basically, I think it's Francisco basically asking, basically, is like unfold yourself means, who are you? Who are you? And then line 6 is basically, you come most carefully upon your hour. You come most carefully upon your hour, is what you say, you are performing exactly as expected. And going even deeper into, if you will, the Western canon, this, of course, is through Thucydides, basically, and it's ta dionta, which is what was, in my opinion, demanded of them. And this is what I did in my research, is I basically went door to door and looked at how the various tribes of the modern enterprise, and say, all right, what are you expecting from the CMO? What are you expecting from the CIO? What are you expecting from the analytical community? What's going on there? What is demanded of them? Because that is a moving target, and that is fundamentally changing. So that's going on. So we are at this inflection point, a fundamental inflection point. That's what everybody's telling us, basically. And it's wonderful that I don't know if any of you are from Sweden, but basically they're doing some great research in this space, and they actually call it a liminal point. A liminal point, and it is a threshold, or rather the moment of crossing it, when one is not anymore in the being left sphere, but not yet in the being approached one. So we are a discipline in transition. This is why we say this is a unique and very, very important, if you will, like a moment in history. And then finally, driving the point home is the most awkward point in time when the stable was empty, but not yet rebuilt into a garage. All right, so we have that opportunity to define our role, to really, this is why it's so exciting. Now, we don't have a lot of time, so we're not going to do this exercise together, but one of the things, we found this to be a very powerful exercise. When you go back to your respective places of employment, please take this exercise back with you and ask, we call this an oral Rorschach test. And it's best, I don't know about the rules in your enterprise, it's best done in the presence of distilled spirits. All right, but it actually works when you're sober too. But anyway, what you do is, and you want 3, it's a very quick type of thing, it's very top of the mind type of thing, but ask your people, and then you can go around the organization as is when your CEO, your CMO, and your CFO hear the phrase web analytics, what is the first thing that leaps to mind? All right, so put that thing together. I don't know if any of you have used this wonderful utility Wordle.net. Has anybody used that? Some of you know that. I mean, take those responses and put it on. It's a very powerful graphic tool. It's available and it's free. Lots of fun. So let me go for it. It's like, I am a mental models kind of guy. All right, basically, this is what I'm saying. It's similar to you all when you interrogated my question. I said, what are they thinking? What's really going on in their heads, right? And you really have to know what is going on in their minds, because mental models are important. They can be dysfunctional, and historically, with regards to our discipline, they have been dysfunctional, and they should be monitored, managed, and in many cases upgraded, because we can change how people think about us and how we think, all right? Have you thought about how you think and how the rest of the enterprise thinks about web analytics? Do you spend much time doing that? Or you're too busy, whacking moles? Right? So this is actually a good use of time. And then the whole thing is, are we or our organizations of one mind with regards to, what it is we do? And the answers are unambiguous. They are not. There are pockets which really get it, and there are pockets which don't. And so that's moving forward. But basically, where you should start is, what do you know what your CEO is thinking? Do you care what your CEO is thinking? All right, but it's a good place to start. And so, basically, I've seen all these CEOs naked. All right, that's because Jeff Immelt at GE, he was my fraternity brother. And our friend Bill McNabb was at Vanguard. He and I were together at Dartmouth, and we were on the Olympic crew team. I was the Cox. He was the engine room. Lou Hay, arguably one of the smartest guys in the world. He's the CEO at Florida Power and Light. Very, very clever guy. And that's David Tepper. David Tepper is the CEO at Appaloosa Capital. Some of you may know, a huge quant, loves, type of thing. He made $4 billion last year. And that's a little awkward for me because he was the person my wife dated before she chose to marry me. And so when I've been bad or she's upset, she shows up with this piece of paper that says $4 billion on it. It's like, so I actually have, you really get inside their heads, right? So you do that, but also spend time with regular. There are CEOs I interview that I haven't seen naked, so that type of thing. But here's one of the big issues that gets in the way of your success and deals with your relationship. Beware of those who practice CEO ventriloquism. Have you ever heard of this phrase before? You've heard of ventriloquism? It's like a lot of people in the enterprise, well, this is what the CEO is thinking. And they don't know. But it's always interesting where there's perfect alignment between what they say the CEO is thinking and what they want you to do. Right?